All right, and we are recording. All right, guys, thanks for coming on board. This is, I guess we're kind of calling this the It Works, the Millionaire Man Zoom. And we have the man, Jason Mayfield here, Ambassador Diamond. Man, it's an honor to have you on board, and we're super excited.
Man, I appreciate that. Now,
Yeah,
we'll tell you, technically, we're always real clear about this. Technically, I'm a presidential diamond.
Oh, okay. Let's back up. You are presidential.
They still give me ambassador lanyards though.
Oh, that's all that matters.
But
If you got the lanyard to prove it, you're gold.
It was the first thing my wife said when she saw the graphic. She went, "Hey, wait a minute. You're a presidential diamond."
Oh, well, we will correct that. Don't worry. The presidential will be on the YouTube video. Oh, well, if that's the case, this is ambassador only. This video's got to end. My apologies.
Sorry, guys. Sorry to disappoint.
All right, nights up. Sorry. Oh man, so this is our third iteration of this. We've been having some fun. Hey, I will say our very first Zoom we had Ben Boyle on, and in the middle of the Zoom, I saw some chats coming in from Breon Wiggum. He was typing in, asking, just chatting away, and come to find out, his wife actually went into labor during our Zoom.
Oh, really?
Yes, during the Zoom. I'm not taking any credit for that, but
listen, that's better than the first time, because the first time she went into labor in the car.
Oh no, that's got to be brutal.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sell that one.
Yeah, so let's not keep anything crazy going on. Let's kind of keep this below labor, a little bit more exciting than we don't put anybody to sleep, but we don't want labor.
I think the most exciting it's going to get is either a child's going to come in the room or I'll knock my coffee over. That'll probably be.
Well, we're having some fun here. All right, so Jason, man, you are a presidential, your wife's an ambassador. You've been in this business for a little while, but let's not assume everybody knows you and knows who you are and knows your story. Take a little bit of time and kind of tell us how you got into the business, how you found the industry.
Hey, cool. Well, I tell you what, before we do that, let's do this. Hey, if you're on here, turn your cameras on, because if we're going to do this, we're going to lean in. As men, we already have a lean out problem. We lean out of the business a little too much. You're on here because you either feel some need to lean in, need to do something. So turn your camera on so you can lean in to the business. So many cameras are still not coming on.
Yeah, we got quite a bit still off.
Come on, guys.
I like it. Let's get them. Let's get involved here. There we go. I'm seeing some more pop up.
If they don't come on, the only thing I can think is there's a woman behind the name.
Very likely.
They're super sleuthing. So, oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I told my team. I said, hey, turn on, get fake mustache, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I see a pretty fake mustache there.
If you are a woman on here, you will not be hated.
No, everybody needs the wisdom the men have.
Loved and embraced. Josh Splinter, I spend more time on Zoom with Josh Splinter than any other man in the business.
Yeah. We'll expect him to be as successful as you are then.
Josh Splinter is more successful than I am, just in other areas. Awesome. So the way that we got in, and y'all keep turning those cameras on for real. It is,
but it's fun watching this.
Yeah, I'm a faith guy, and I really do believe sometimes you got to take a step in order to get into what you want to get into. So if you want your check to increase, you turn your camera on. I mean, if you don't want your check to increase, I don't care. I'm still going to get paid. So if you want your check to increase,
no matter what.
Camera on. I mean, that's real stuff for real. So, all right, here we go. So how did we get in? I guess it was about 3.5 years ago now. We may be coming up on 4 years. I'm not sure. Think maybe it's been 4 years. I'm not sure. I think, I don't know, somewhere in there. Back in 2016 is when it happened. Ashley joined in May 24th, 2016. We were in Florida. We had moved down to Florida. I had some real major career hiccups. And so we had started to transition out of pastoral ministry in the local church. And I had started picking up all these side hustles. And it was almost supernatural, because I wasn't looking for things. They just came to me. So I just started to pick these things up, but nothing I particularly wanted to do, but it started to make a way. Well, while I was doing that, there had been a series of things that had happened over a few years where we noticed that Ashley had almost an aptitude to make money. that when I look back, I wish I would have been more attentive to it at the time, but there was just this aptitude to make money. And so we started really working through this process after we came out of pastoral ministry, which for over a decade, 100% of my income came from the church.
And we know good and well, pastoral income is not substantial.
No, it's not. But I will tell you, I was on the high end of it. So I don't want to make it sound like it was never that we were hurting. Any of our hurting was really that we were irresponsible. But the thing about all of your money coming from one location in general, but especially in something like pastoral ministry, which if you are a pastor, you probably understand there's a volatility factor to that, because it takes one right person getting in one bad mood, and the next day you're going, am I going to get paid this weekend? So there's a volatility factor there. And we just realized we had 100% of our eggs in one single basket. And so when we exited pastoral ministry, we started to build multiple streams of income. So for a long time, we had lots of small pieces of income just coming in from all over the place. Well, Ashley had really started talking about doing it work specifically. She'd been following a girl at this point for like 18 months on the internet, on Instagram, who had gone from doing nothing in the business to owning a $1 million home on the lake. And in the meantime, we're still kind of we're trying to get our financial footing every time we turn around. And so 18 months, this girl changed her life. In the same 18 months, we were kind of like, we're having to still figure out where we're at financially. So Ashley said, in light of us being able to build another stream of income, she said, I think I could make this work. I said, what's your number that you need to hit to justify it? And she said, I'd like to make $500, but I think I'll probably make $200 to $300. Now, when you have a lot of streams of income, a $200 to $300 stream of income is pretty stinking awesome. So we were about that life. But when she said it, I had enough understanding of the industry that when she started talking about joining It Works, because I had asked her to do something like this for years. I actually am friends with multiple top earners in multiple other companies. So I know the Joel and Steph of several different multi-level marketing companies. I don't know how it was just one of those things that just happens to be. And so, and I'm not talking about like I've heard of them, like I know these people, like could pick up the phone and call them. And so I'd wanted her to do something for forever. So when she started talking about it, she's saying, I'd like 500. I'm thinking I'll probably do 2 to 3. Immediately, I'm thinking $50,000 a month. Now, so men, let me just give you a little tip here. I had already had a budget sitting on my computer for what I would do for every income amount from $4,000 in $5,000 increments all the way up to $50,000. So I had a $4,000 budget because we were making about $4,000. So that was called our budget. That's what that was. So we were doing 4,000. Then I had a 5,000, 10,000, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, $50,000 budget. So when she said $500, I said $50,000 a month. So from the moment she joined, I was in on the potential. And so she joined. They were running a cruise at the time, a contest for a cruise. We didn't really understand much. She just went, I want to go on that cruise. And so the person she enrolled with said, if you do X, Y, and Z, I'm pretty certain you'll get on the cruise, which wasn't super grand. I mean, I think right now Margaritaville is so incredible because some of your wives, believe it or not, and believe it or not, my wife is like this, are not motivated by money. Even though the amazing thing about this business is the amount of time freedom you can have and the amount of financial freedom you can have. Because you can make a crap ton of money. But she's not motivated by money. But for whatever reason, she was motivated by this cruise. So that was kind of what got her going to the point where she went Ruby. And then she just kind of halted. But She stuck at Ruby. I think she probably lost rank. I mean, to be honest with you, the $400 or $500 that she was making it didn't kill us when it left. It helped when it came, but it didn't kill us when it went. But something happened towards the end of the year, and as we transitioned into the new year, she really wanted to do this. I mean, she wanted to make it happen. She had committed to a year, so she's like, I don't want to sit here for a year just always going Ruby, 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 and working for Ruby every month. I want to progress. And so she had said, I want to go diamond by December 31st. She missed it by 90 days, but I still think that's pretty good. We always say, you know, if I would have quit when I said I was going to quit, I'd have missed out on all this money. But just by holding out, waiting out for 3 more months to see what happens, the business took off. But in that process, when she wanted her business to take off, I just asked her, I said, I was 237 pounds at the time, about 5'8". I was noticeably, as a matter of fact, we've even said, we didn't realize how big I was. Other people probably did. We didn't realize how big I was, but I was a big old boy. And so, because my best friend is a bowl of spaghetti. I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but I hit me a bowl of spaghetti. I told somebody the other day, I said, I don't abuse normal substances. I abuse spaghetti. That's where I go when I'm hurting, when I'm a little down, get me a bowl of spaghetti. So I asked her, I said, if I lost weight, would it kickstart the business? And she said it wouldn't hurt. So over 4 months, I lost 55 pounds, which was huge. A lot of our business took off from that. Before I lost weight, we were doing hair, skin, and nails all the time. I don't know if it's still this. At the time, it was 39 BV. So it was 39, 39, 39, 39, 39, anytime it would sell. When I lost weight, it was 98, 98, 98, 98, 98. So we were hitting almost 100 volume every time we did a transaction. And the people that were onboarding with us were wanting to lose weight, and they were doing 98 BV every time. They were getting a customer. So for someone to hit the 400 club, it was run your auto ship and get 4 people on the weight loss program. And that was how we were building our business at the time. This is before debt-free. This is before we had even thought about going debt-free. We were doing this stuff. And it was building our business all off of results. But here's the thing. I didn't have to lose 55 pounds to get the business moving. I didn't have to post any pictures to get the business moving. I told Ashley when I started, I don't want to tell people I'm losing weight because I know the 3 days after that are going to be volatile. That's when I'm probably going to quit. And I just don't want to put it out there that I'm a quitter. So I want to give it a little time. And so we waited 1 month. I lost 16.4 pounds. I'm a Photoshop guy. So I pull up Photoshop. I make me a little black square graphic that says in white letters, I've lost, and then I put in big green letters, y'all get catching the theme on the colors, 16.4 pounds in little white letters in 1 month. And I didn't even post a picture. I just basically wrote a status that said, hey y'all, I lost 16 pounds. We might as well have hung a sign on our front door that said, we're open for business, because that's what started generating the interest. And every month when I would lose more weight, it was more interest. And by the time I'd lost the 55 pounds, we really chomped on that probably for the next 5 or maybe 3 to 4 months. But our team was getting it, and they were losing weight, and they were getting results, and they were getting people. So it created that, I don't want to call it residual income, but it did create a residual effect where there were a lot of people doing the work that was just, and the great thing about it, when it's set off in the team, now we all have things to market. Hey, I lost 16 pounds. This guy lost 17 pounds. This guy lost 30 pounds. This lady lost 20 pounds. This lady lost 200 pounds. So some of our folks that have lost weight, Jason and Alicia Walters, who between the two of them lost 170 pounds, they were on corporate material. They were on the party pad for a while. So we had some really good results. But yeah, so that was kind of what brought us in and got us ticking. And then you guys know, hopefully, if you haven't ever heard our story, I think the big point of just, oh, this is when it got so good, was in October 2018. We kind of started getting disgusted with our debt. Ashley started getting really worried about it. We had about $50,000 in debt. She started getting worried about it for some reason. It wasn't bothering me. We were managing it, but I mean, I was aware of it. I wasn't loving it, but she was getting really concerned about it. So we went on this cruise. It was an awful, terrible Carnival cruise. It was terrible. And I'm not saying Carnival cruises are bad. I'm saying this one was a bad one. Whatever this boat was, it was a bad cruise. And I know I must have bought it on price. But I threw this thing on a credit card. She had gone double diamond by this time. And really a lot of that was weight loss, man. That weight loss was really kicking that engine. And so we went on this cruise, and me and Ashley did not get along on the cruise. And so we were doing our own things. And I go over and I'm in this hot tub. Because I'm like, I'm going to get a hot tub. For 3 days, I'm trying to get in this hot tub. She won't come to the hot tub. I'm going to the hot tub, dadgummit. So I go get in this hot tub, and I start talking to this couple that are there on their 2-year anniversary. This was also, I think, our 10-year anniversary was coming up. And they're on their 2-year anniversary, and they said, well, we're not really celebrating our 2-year anniversary. It's kind of a side thing. We're celebrating we just went debt-free. When they said it, it just like pierced my being. You're here on your freaking 2-year anniversary and you're celebrating being debt free. We're going to be married a decade next month. And my wife's been on me the last couple of weeks. Just, we got to do something about our debt. We got to do something about our debt. We got to do something about our debt. I came home, man. I made a plan. We didn't have $50,000 in debt. We had $13,000 more than I thought we did. We had $63,801.99. So, I mean, it was a lot more than I thought. And we started this process of, I mean, we went into like major debt payoff mode. We shut down everything. People say, did the checks going up help? Yeah, they helped. But what really helped is we said no to everything. We didn't do anything. You got something coming up on a renewal? Guess what? It ain't getting renewed. You know, I mean, and so, but then 6 months later, we were 100% debt free. And that created a new cycle of business for us that really took us to Ambassador Diamond. And this year, so far, we've helped in our team pay off over $170,000 worth of debt. We'll probably hit $200,000 before the end of the year. So we just had someone go debt free the other night. Several of our people paid off, you know, over $30,000. So it's been really cool. And that's just in 2017. And that doesn't include our 63.
Man, that's unbelievable. I absolutely love hearing this. So, and you know, it's a cloud looming over everybody for the most part. You know, there are a very small percentage of the American people who don't have it. So for you to say that, you know, you were determined in such a short amount of time, that's what's unbelievable.
Well,
so one thing
that's important to remember, we did that on a double diamond paycheck. So that's not, I'm gonna say something to you guys you need to hear, because you probably don't understand all the ranks and stuff. If you're just, because there's 3 types of men in this business. There are men in this business who do the business. There are husbands in this business they're husbands. They're not in the business, but they're in the business. They're there, they're supportive, they're aware, they know what's going on, they kind of do some stuff, but you're not like eat, sleep, and breathe, it works. And then there are men who, really husbands who've just kind of been subjected to the business against their own will. And so you might be one of those. I don't know. But if you don't understand all those ranks, double diamond is when you kind of start getting a paycheck, not a paycheck, but a full-time paycheck. It's going to be between $4,000 and $6,000 a month, most likely. And it's easy to get. That's what I really want you to hear. Double diamond is easy to do. Double diamond is not a hard rank to get to. We've been trying to dispel this. So everybody's like, double diamonds, oh man, no, double diamond is easy. Anybody can go double diamond. Anybody, I'm convinced. And we went debt free on a double diamond paycheck. As a matter of fact, we paid off our debt and then went triple diamond. It was a beautiful thing.
Man, I love hearing that because a lot of times we think we can't do these massive goals, the massive, in this case, debt cutting until you have this just crazy ambassador level pay.
No, as a
I
matter
absolutely
of
love.
fact, if you don't deal with it, the big paychecks probably aren't coming. That's been my personal philosophy.
No, that seems absolutely true. I love it. So just so we can kind of understand the timeline, you're saying a little more than a year ago. Am I right? August 2018, you guys were double?
No, it was 2 years ago that we went into that process of going debt free.
Okay. But
So it was
give
October of 2018. I'm sorry, I misspoke. It was October 2017.
okay.
And then by March of 2018, we were debt free, or the beginning of April, we were debt free.
That's still unbelievable though. So March of 2018, you're double diamond, or your wife is at least. What give us the timeline of progression after that? How long did it take you to go triple prez and then up the
Oh, we
charts?
paid the debt off and went triple right after. I mean, it was debt pay triple.
So this is something just thinking out here. Do you think there's some psychology involved with you were able to conquer that big of a task that you were able to do something that few people have the determination to do? And so once you did that, it just set you on fire to grow even
Well,
more?
I don't know about that, but I will say it did bring a lot of synergy to the house because everybody was flowing in this direction. We were all flowing towards debt free. And we were all doing things we didn't want to do. So I could have quit doing what I was doing at that time, but we had just said, I'm going to keep all of my side contracts until we have our emergency fund. By the way, we went debt free in 6 months, $63,801.99. We don't toss this number out a whole lot. The 2 months following that, we put $25,000 in the bank, which was our emergency fund. So in 8 months, it was actually, what is that, $87,000, $88,000. So, yeah. So, but there was just I think there was so much synergy that it's all about the mission. And so, we have to work a little harder for the synergy now because there's no, I was thinking the other day, I was in church. This is kind of the life change for us. I was in church. They were singing or saying something about how, do you need a miracle? And, everybody's hands going up. Do you need a miracle? Do you need a miracle? And I sat there and I thought, I don't need no miracles. I don't need a miracle. There is enough prosperity in my life that I don't need a miracle. So I think in one sense, and because I just gave something away, I believe God wants you to prosper. But I also believe there's a process to prospering. And that process typically is, I can't give you what you can't manage. And if you look at the parable of the talents, the one who manages really well gets a lot more. The one who manages well gets some more. And the one who mismanages gets what he has taken away from him. Effectively, being in debt is having what you have taken away from you. Because you need to change your phraseology on debt. You're not just in debt, you have a negative net worth.
True.
Because most of us aren't carrying debt with a positive net worth. So the debt is more than the assets, because most of us, if we have debt, our debt is our assets. So you aren't actually worth anything. Oh, snap. That's cold right there. But that's the truth. If you look at the numbers, and we're talking about numbers, we're not talking about intrinsic value. We're just talking about numbers. You are worth a negative amount of money. If you died today, somebody's not getting paid. That's what that means. It's just not a place you want to be. You don't want your life insurance to cover all of the stuff that you left unfinished. So for me, I think when we paid the debt off, it brought us into a new level of income because it was a way to say we are now able to handle whatever is put in front of us. financially. So, I mean, I think just on some level, being financially prudent and financially responsible opens you up to more money. And I don't necessarily think that's a singularly spiritual law. I also think there's some laws in the natural realm that lend themselves to that as well.
No, I completely agree. It's just kind of like the law of sowing the seed. Anybody, whether you're a believer or not, knows you plant a seed, you water it, you're going to see something sprout up.
Yeah.
There are fundamental rules that, spirituality aside, they're going to apply to anybody and everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't work, you don't eat. But the inverse of that would also be true. If you work, you eat. But what we always want is we want a supernatural touch on our work, so that we work and our work does exponentially more than anything that we would actually put our hands on it. So, I mean, there are days that we sit back, and especially because Ashley is the main, portion of the machine, and we go, man, you work hard, but I don't know that it's this hard. I don't know that what our paychecks are. I don't know that it's that hard of work. And I always tell people the intensity of the work really doesn't change. So if you've got a wife on here right now, which I hope you do, it'd be great if you have a wife, because he who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Absolutely.
So if you have a wife that's in the business right now and they're not at a higher rank, they're at, executive, or they just enrolled, or they're a ruby, or even a diamond. Diamond's good money, but it's not, you're not going out and buying new cars with it. So if you have a wife who's at one of those ranks, and you sit back and you go, my gosh, you're just on your phone all the time and you just never stop. And all you do is, and it's not like you're making $50,000 a month. Well, first of all, I'm gonna give you some of the best advice you're ever going to hear. Stop being a turd. Support her while she does this. Okay. That's honest to God. Every counseling session I have, that's where it goes. You just need to stop being a turd. I fixed someone's marriage with this advice one time, like majorly. So that's number one. But number two is, what you got to understand, the intensity of the work does not necessarily change. So watch your wife be on her phone all day long, and then ask yourself this question. If that was a $75,000 paycheck at the end of that, is it worth it? The answer would probably be yes. If there was a $75,000 paycheck behind that, would it be worth it? Probably so. Here's the deal. The intensity of the work doesn't change. It's the type of work that changes. As a matter of fact, the higher you go, sometimes you'll see people who are way up in the company, and you'll hear that they don't enroll that many people. They don't enroll that many distributors. There was a time when you're enrolling tons of people, but the work changed. You're going from boots on the ground to leadership. It's not that you stop doing the work. So I just, I don't know what got me into that. I kind of just follow a stream of consciousness, but yeah.
No, I think this is great. Keep on.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I came to the end of it. That was good though.
It reminds me though, there's a book, what got you here won't get you there. And then the type of work that gets you from ruby to diamond and on up isn't necessarily the exact same work that will get you to the next phase of the business.
Yeah. We always tell people, if you go into your E-suite, you won't find a double diamond chart. Remember, I said double diamond is my favorite rank for two reasons. Number one, you can go full time. And number two, it's not hard. I just want to say that again. It is not hard. If your wife can hear me in the background, honey, go in double diamond. It's not hard.
It ain't hard.
Just go do it. It's not hard. It's just the same two legs that take you emerald, the same two legs that take you ruby, the same two legs that take you, well, you just need three legs now to go ruby, but the same two legs that take you emerald, the same two legs that take you diamond, are the same two legs that take you double diamond. It is not that hard. When you go triple, you need that third leg. It's just two legs all the way up to about $5,000 a month. It is not that hard. But you do have, when you go into the E-suite, you'll notice there's no double diamond download for a chart, because when you go double diamond, it is no longer about you. When you go double diamond, it's about your team. So you have to shift gears. So like you said, what got you here won't get you there. You can enroll the mess out of people and go diamond. I mean, the truth is you can enroll the mess out of people and go ambassador. We just don't want to have that kind of organization. We don't want an organization where we're always the ones doing it. We want to have an organization where we're leading and empowering people, because that's your leverage in the business, you know, and you don't have to be on blood pressure medicine for that. I mean,
Yeah, I like it. So let's go back, because one thing you said earlier kind of triggered a thought. You talked about you guys really, and you used the term synergy. You really had a synergy when you had a sole focus on going debt free. And that
yeah.
reminds me of the scripture, where there is no vision, the people perish. Could you say that kind of ties into it? You guys had a sole vision. You had you were one force working together, and that energy of you guys going together like that is what has helped propel you?
I think yes, but I also think because, and it really, you know, that passage is very well accompanied by something that is said in Habakkuk chapter 2. And in Habakkuk chapter 2, the Lord speaks to the prophet and says, write the vision, make it plain so the people may run with it. And I think for us, it wasn't just that there was this vision and we were there together. It's that really everything that happened flowed into this one singular thing that needed to happen. It was very plain, it was written, and we were running with it. And so, yeah, I think it was a mandate that it wasn't just, I got to promote. Because to be honest with you, for us, going debt-free was It Works was a part of it. It Works was not it. See, a lot of times the why is centered around the business. It's centered around, I got to go triple diamond, or I got to go presidential diamond, which I'll go ahead and say this too. I wouldn't even look at ranks. I'd look at income, because you can't send a presidential diamond rank, you know, lanyard from an event into your mortgage company. It does you no good. So having that number is what matters, because the number is what changes your life. The number is what makes an impact. But for us there, what I was saying was, a lot of times it's about the It Works. We had something that was greater than It Works. It was going debt free. It was getting that emergency fund in place. So when we were doing that, everything was about that. It wasn't just, when I'm talking synergy, I mean, I'm talking everything. It wasn't just Ashley's working the business. It wasn't just I'm losing weight. It wasn't just, like a squirrel jumped on my window. It wasn't just, you know, the kids can't have toys right now. It was, you know, it was how we eat, how we behave, where we go, the things we do, the type of entertainment we have, the things we say yes to, the things we say no to. Everything was funneled through the filter of, does this help us go debt free? As a matter of fact, at the time, we had a real weird question we had to answer. Dallas Green Carpet was coming up. We live in Florida. We like events in Florida. We don't have to pay much to go to them. We like it. When they announced that we were going to Costa Rica, we were kind of like, yes, we're going to Costa Rica. I'm like, no, it's in Costa Rica. You know, they announced Margaritaville, and I'm like, yes, that's here. We can do that. We can drive there. But when they announced Dallas, we were in the middle of our debt-free process. I think we were debt-free when we got there, but we weren't when we had to do tickets and all that stuff. And so we had the question come up, do we go to Dallas Green Carpet? And the initial answer was no, because it was going to be X amount for a hotel. It was like $900 just to fly there. Then you got to get the tickets, and you're going to have to eat, and you're going to have to do all this. And by the time you're done, it's $2,500 to go. And so initially we said no. And then, you know, like, duh, we went, how could we not pay $2,500 to go out there when we're going debt free, when the payoff of an event is so monumental? And so we went from going, no, we need that money to go to our debt, to we can't do this if we don't do that. And so we went And honestly, because we went, I mean, every event every green carpet, we did 3 green carpets that year. Every green carpet, we were a different rank and we were at a different financial place. We went debt free at one of them. We filled our emergency fund at one of them, so we got our Disney passes back at one of them, which was a big deal because we let our Disney passes go. So yeah. So we're talking synergy, we're talking everything filtered through that question.
Man, I absolutely love that. And, really, you're not going to find a bigger proponent for corporate events because that's where, as guys, a lot of times we don't realize if your wife is the one who got into this and you aren't very familiar, a lot of times you don't realize what this business actually is, the scale of what it is, the products, the leadership. It does not become real until you're in the seat, in the event. You see these people, you see those walking across the stage.
Yeah, and I think one of the best things that happens for ladies' businesses, for your wife's business, when you go to an event as a man, and I do speak from the husband perspective, but I think as a husband, the best thing for your wife's business is when you go to an event. So what happens is the event's not going to turn you on forever. You're probably not going to have a life-changing moment. But you're going to because you're going to get excited about what you see, there's going to be like this 60-day window where you just leave her alone about it. And she's able to do whatever she's got to do to grow her business for 60 days. And so for 60 days, the men turn from this, we see these guys that'll go from passive aggressive comments to all in for 60 days. But sometimes that's all your wife needs. Your wife just needs a little window of it being all right for her to succeed. I get so irritated when I hear these men, and I always hear women say it. Men will never say this. I mean, I guess some probably would, but I always hear women say, well, Joey likes to come home to a clean house. How big is the last check you got on a clean house? As a matter of fact, I just got off the phone with somebody the other day whose wife cleans other people's houses and it's still not making enough money. And you're worried about the dishes. Man, I'm just telling you, you got to figure out how to get over some stuff. The floor being vacuumed, the toys being picked up, everything smelling good, and your dinner being hot on the table, it's not making you any more money. And I get that it feels real good to come in from a long day's worth of work and come sit down and everything be taken care of. But do you want to come in and everything be taken care of? Or do you want to have a bank account at the end of this month that looks like it looked last year? Because I'm going to tell you something. There are months where we see more deposited in the account than I made in my first 4 years of pastoral ministry. So sometimes I get real upset about this. I hope I'm not coming off mean, but
no, keep on.
Yeah, you have to let some stuff go. You hear this sometimes in this business. It irritates me because there are moments that we're selling the dream, okay? And this is why at least 50% of you, when your wife wanted to join, you said it's a scam. This is why. It's because you buy in to the dream, and we're selling the dream. And sometimes the way that the business is sold and the way the industry is sold is it's let's lay on a lounge chair on the beach, sip from a coconut, and watch the dollars come in. The reality is there is time freedom, and I can go do that when other people can't. When everybody's going to be there on Saturday, I can be there on Tuesday if I want. So we can do it whenever we want. As a matter of fact, the only thing that really interferes with my schedule is my kids going to school. I'm thinking about homeschooling them just so I can do what I want on Thursday. I mean, my goodness, they got me bound up over here at the school. I can't even go anywhere. So we work for ourselves and we still can't leave in the middle of the week. All that being said, though, we buy into the dream. The fact of the matter is you cannot have it all. The dream is that you can have it all. You cannot have it all. And at best, you can have it all, but you can't have it all at the same time. So, there are moments in the month, we just know certain things ain't going to happen. Between the 25th and the 2nd, it shuts down. Ashley is 100% all the time. Why? Because she's enrolling stuff at the end of the month? No, because my wife works at the beginning of the month. That's why she's an ambassador diamond. And if any women heard that, I hope you wrote that one down. If somebody asked last month, we did a Zoom at the end of the month. They said, how do we enroll end of the month volume. I said, I'm going to give you the secret. Are you ready? Start working on November 1st. Oh, it'll change the end of the month. So no, at the end of the month, though, she's working on everybody's promotion. She's helping oversee everything. She's making things happen. We know at that time of the month, it's just, we have a new that time of the month, men. It's not that time of the month anymore. It's end of month. It's that time of the month. It's the 25th through the 2nd. We know that's a moment where things shift in the house, but that's where a lot of the money is made. It's just by giving that attention there. So you got to learn the cycles, and you just got to learn there's certain times. There's, on Friday, people are getting paid, and if they're getting paid, I can get paid. So when their checks are flowing in, they're buying my products. So I know on Fridays, we kind of got to be on top of getting people's stuff, and so you just got to be aware of that. And I'm not saying that if you got cockroaches running across the floor, praise God, y'all are building your business. But I will tell you this, if you really don't like dishes being in the sink, take your little fat tail over to the sink and do the freaking dishes. And I'll tell you this, you want to know what's behind a $33,000 check, a $47,000 check, a $28,000 check, a $19,000 check? I do the dishes every single day. I put them in at night. I take them out in the morning. Every single day. And some of y'all be saying, oh, well, you're a real man. You're doing dishes. Oh, well, come look at my bank account. And let's talk about manliness. You can probably lift more than me too. You know what you can't lift though? You can't lift going to the car lot and getting a new car on the spot in cash. So, you can lift 300 pounds. I don't care. So, hello. So you gotta learn to refocus your priority to where it matters. And I don't care if it's a traditional norm. For years, one of the things that we did is I made all the money, and Ashley was dealing with all the money. So I was making about $65,000 a year at max, okay, in pastoral ministry, maybe 70. Because in pastoral ministry, there's some tax benefits and some stuff. So it probably leveled out to be about $70,000 a year. And Ashley was dealing with all the money. And then one day, it was just like we were in the middle of this, and like a light switch went off. We wanted to go debt-free, and, she's making all this money. All of a sudden, we realized we had this wrong. The norm was I make all the money. But then we realized you have an aptitude to make a lot of money. And so she will make close to 10 times what I ever made, and I manage all the finances. And we found out that we were really both in our grace in that arrangement, where she was really this major funding machine. She just made the money happen. And then I put it all where it needed to go. And because I am still from the South, and I am still a man, and I deal with all the money, technically, on paper, the IRS thinks that I get paid more than her.
Man, this is unbelievable.
I told my CPA, I said, I want her to look like she gets paid less than me.
You can do anything on paper, can't you?
Yeah, it shocks me, honestly. She'll be telling me stuff. I'll be worried about stuff. My CPA will say stuff. I'm like, you can do that? She's like, oh, yeah. I'm amazed.
That's awesome. They can make some magic happen. Man, I'm having fun here. I hope you guys are too. Let's shift gears here for a second. You said something that I loved.
You're a great interviewer, because someone like me, I'm all over the place. I don't even know how I get where I'm going. And then but you're great. You're like, so let's shift gears here for a moment.
It's the beauty of notes. My attention span is all over the place, but the notes help hone it in. But no, you said something that I've been wanting to ask you about. So you said double diamond is your favorite rank. And I love, because you said it's not about you anymore. Mm-hmm. It's about who can you help. And then really at the end of the day, you're not going to succeed until you help other people succeed. That reminds me, though, John Maxwell, the greatest leadership mentor of all time, teaches about people they're essentially, and this may be oversimplification, but he says there's two types of leaders. Leaders of followers, meaning you want people to follow you as you lead, and they rely on you. They rely on your insight, your wisdom. They're kind of always needing you. And then there are leaders of leaders.
Yeah.
And leaders of leaders, they develop other people to lead others. And you really touched on that when you said double diamond's no longer about you. It's about helping them. And being that leader of leader. So how have you guys developed leaders, and how have you shifted that focus onto the other people?
Well, I'll say though, too, I think when you go double diamond, it's no longer about you, but I don't believe you're becoming a leader of leaders. You're probably still a leader of followers, but you have to become a leader, because you have to start getting really involved in what other people's businesses are doing. Listen, there are people who've gone double diamond on their own merit, and they've been stacking and placing and making it happen, and they did all the work. And a bunch of people in their organization are just benefiting from whatever they got. But that's not sustainable. I think the higher you go, the more it becomes leaders of leaders. When you know everybody in your organization, like when you know everybody's name and everybody's face, you can be a leader of followers, and that's fine. And that's sustainable at that point. And really, honestly, you can probably do that into presidential. You might even be able to do that into ambassador. But for us, and I'll say this too about our organization, we have a small organization. People who make the same amount of money as us, most of them have double or triple the amount of people we have in our business. Like, we have a small team, but we do maximize our leadership, so that helps. So when you start to get to the place where you don't know everybody in your organization, when they start to talk about people in your downline and you're going, who? Because I've never met them. I've never heard of them. This is a first instance. That's when you really have to become a leader of leaders, almost out of necessity, because you've got people who are out of your reach anyway. They are naturally out of your reach. Mm-hmm. So becoming a leader of leaders for us has been a lot about systems. So that way we have things that people can replicate and they can run with. So it's about building a strong organization in terms of systems, procedures. This is what we do. This is when we do it. This is how we do it. But one thing that I think is really important is that everybody in the business that goes up higher becomes a life-giving, encouraging personality. It's really important to become a personality. One of the benefits that we have is that, and I think it's important for the husbands to do it as well, not just your wife. But if you can brand yourself to your team, I know that sounds weird, but if you can brand yourself to your team, you can continue to serve your team even when the leadership stuff is outside of your grasp. Because you're going to develop leaders of leaders, and then you're going to have people that you have no direct touch with. But what you can do is you can still show up. And I always tell Ashley, there are moments that it's not celebrity, but it is. There are moments that we just lean into the celebrity. And you lean into the fact that I can show up and it wows people. There are people on our team that have minor Beatlemania when Ashley sends them a voicemail. Most of the responses to Ashley's first voice memo is the girl coming back and going, oh my God, I can't believe you just sent me a voice memo. And they're just wigging out. And so you can use that. But I think systems, processes, and then also walking people through self-development, walking people through personal development. Everybody talks about it like it's the silver bullet, and then we sit back and we go, okay, yeah, but what really? No, it really is. Personal development really is the silver bullet. And the more you're ingesting, the more you can speak the right thing at the right moment. Here's what's interesting. You can read a whole book. This is the book I'm finishing tomorrow. Where is it? Ugh. This is the book I'm finishing tomorrow. I've read through the whole thing. I have a general understanding of the book. I got a bunch of notes written down in the front. I started this one like 6 days ago. And I got all these notes and stuff in here. Honestly, this book is not something I can use in my life right now. But there's going to be a moment that something happens and bam, I need that. Mm-hmm. I need that. and usually it's going to be in a conversation. So what am I doing when I'm doing personal development? I'm building myself as a leader. And so it's about helping people do those things as well. So, and some of it is also we kind of are at the place now where we don't try to make anybody a leader. We will cultivate leadership in people who show the aptitude for it. But I'm not going to try to make you a leader. And a rank doesn't make you a leader. There are ambassador diamonds who are not leaders.
Yeah, we've seen it so many times in our industry.
Yeah, but there are, there are rubies that are leaders.
Yeah.
So, but that personal development, man, I'm telling you, you'd be amazed. I always tell Ashley, I don't see it, but I can walk in her office, she'll say something, and I can give her kind of a framework to a business that I don't even run. I don't run this business. If I enroll people, I do it through her account. We don't, and by the way, you should only be working one account. So if you got some kind of thing where you want to go diamond on your own merit, your account should look like nothing ever happens in it. Everything should happen in your wife's account and things should be placed. That's a freebie, by the way. But I'll walk in a business that I'm not super familiar with what's going on in the organization at all times. I'm aware, but not fully engaged most of the time. Walk in, she'll say something, and I can give her kind of a framework for what ought to happen. Honest to God, that comes from years of being in the scripture. This stuff is great, and I love this stuff. But it comes from just years. I've just got so much history here that all of a sudden we can work something out because there's a reservoir there. So I don't know that answers your question. The thing about leadership is that here's the thing about John Maxwell. John Maxwell goes, leadership is, and everything is a numbered list. As a matter of fact, he made a joke one day. He said, I was a terrible counselor. He said, because all of my answers were numbered list, And so everything's a numbered list. The problem is leadership is not a numbered list.
Yeah, it's a dynamic beast within itself, undoubtedly.
Yeah. And you're going to learn leadership at the expense of a lot of people. And, you always hear it in this business. The people who take you diamond aren't the people who take you triple. You always hear things like that. The people who took you double diamond aren't the ones that take you ambassador. The reason for that is typically you're learning your leadership on that first group of people. So people would always ask me, because I had a pretty phenomenal music ministry for several years. And people would say, how did you learn to do all of this? I said, at the expense of 400 sweet, sweet people in Zephyr Hills, Florida. I just berated those folks, but I learned a ton while I was there. So, yeah.
Man, it's so good. You do learn leadership at the expense of people, and we're thankful for those who stick. I'm just thankful that you don't learn parenting at the expense of your first children.
You might.
You might, but thankfully God gives you a little bit more time with them to kind of hone that in as they age.
I always tell my kids, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure it out just like y'all trying to figure it out. Y'all trying to figure out what makes me mad? I'm trying to figure out what makes me mad. Sometimes I just find out on the spot, So, yeah, no, I would say the biggest thing you can do in terms of leadership, because there's no silver bullet to make it happen, but it would be the personal development. Ashley always starts her Zooms with this question, and I'll ask the same thing. How many of you would like to make a $50,000 check this month? If that's you, wave at me. Okay. Now I want you to hold up your same hand and show me how many books you've finished cover to cover in the last 90 days. So the question is, do you think, and most of the people who don't have their cameras on, those are probably zeros and ones and stuff like that.
Yeah, they were the ones too embarrassed to show.
Well, no, we see a lot. When we ask this, we see zeros coming all the time. The question is, do you think a $50,000 check and the amount of books that you read exist in the same life? The answer is probably no. A book a month is not going to get you $50,000 a month. One book in 90 days is not going to get you $50,000 a month. So, I mean, everything behind me is being read before the end of 2020. That'll be about 24 books in a year. And I'm doing a fiction book at night. So, you know, you have to develop some of those things in order to succeed. Why? One side is you need to fill your tank. The second side is if you haven't read more than a few books in the last 90 days, you probably don't particularly love to read. Okay. Well, it's a good thing for you to do stuff that you don't love to do that you know is good for you. I don't love going to the gym, but I'm doing it. I don't love to read. I'm not naturally a reader, but I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's just one of those things where, you know, right now we're taking our team through some stuff where every day they're reading a Bible reading plan. And so everybody's coming back and they're going, oh man, you know, they're reading the books, they're doing the gym, they're on a diet, and they're reading a Bible reading plan. And they're all going, oh man, it's the Bible reading. And every time they say it, I'm like, is it really that big of a deal for them? And then it hits me. That's the thing they never do. And I don't feel that way because it's the thing I was already doing.
Yeah.
But then you institute these other disciplines that are things that you don't have a natural propensity for. That'll change your freaking life.
You know, it's so perfect you're talking about this because you know, full disclosure, Jason and I have had some chats and some conversations, but I did not know he was a heavy reader. Now I absolutely love personal growth, self-development. And it reminds me, there's a saying, I think it's Charlie Jones, said, you'll be the same person in 5 years as you are today, except for the books you read and the people you meet. This is exactly where, I mean, we're seeing this living out in front of us. The people we meet, the legend Jason Mayfield, and the books that you read. So let me ask you this. What's a good book? Give us a recommendation. What is a basic book, a leadership book? What's on your radar right now?
Well, I'll tell you, if you just need a go-to leadership book, one of the best ones is just the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell, because it gives you some tangible stuff you can work with and some quick language, some quick mantras that you can go to. Like, you know, right now everybody's talking about Movember. You know, we're in the momentum for November. Well, that comes from the law of Big Mo, which is from the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. So, you know, you read that stuff, it gives you something that you can work with as a framework. But if I was going to recommend any book to you right now, my favorite book I've read lately is The Ride of a Lifetime by Robert Iger, the CEO of Disney.
I finished that book last week. Unbelievably good.
Weeks ago, and it was just, I was like in the zone the whole time I was reading it. But yeah, I would say something like that, something that, you know, something easy. And you know, people always say, what book should I read? The question is really, what problem do you have? Mm-hmm. So like for me, I'm not real good with people. So you know, one of the books that was just pivotal for me was Be a People Person by John Maxwell. But that would, you know, I could tell all of you to go read, you know, Be a People Person, you know, but I mean, some of y'all are like the life of the party when you show up. So some of you could walk into a room and go, hey, let's all kill ourselves. And people would be going, yes, let us do that. That is a great idea. You are awesome. Because you're just that influential and infectious when you walk into a room. Me, I can go in and, you know, say, hey, let's all get rich. And people would go, getting rich is stupid, idiot. Because I just don't have a natural people lean. And so sometimes you just got to target the thing. And people always say, well, how do I do that? I don't know. Walk into Barnes & Noble and look around. I mean, the worst case scenario really is you go into Barnes & Noble and you just put your hand on a book and you go read that one. And if you still read a book, it's still good for you. So, you know, yeah. But I like that Robert Iger book.
Yeah, it was super good. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Hey, I will tell you, somebody just asked me a question privately here about the 75-day challenge on my website. The 75-day challenge is basically just 3 months of products. But I'm trying something right now on my own where typically what we do is we try to walk people through a 3-month program, right? And that 3-month program is you get your products and you take your products for 3 months and you make other lifestyle changes to accompany that. Well, for me, 75 days, it can start the day you order your products. So once you get your first batch, then you're starting your 75 days. So it accounts for shipping time. But I mean, basically with anybody that you deal with, guys, I mean, I'll be honest with you, what most of you could really contribute is to bring value to the business or to the product. We've done that a little bit as a company because, yes, the supplement is great, but if you get on the keto diet, you're going to kill it. You're going to go to the next level. So, you know, if you can take something like if you get on these products and you get on the keto diet and you read 10 pages a day, at the end of 90 days, you're going to have read about 4 books. You're going to be skinnier. You're going to have more mental clarity. So it's about bringing value. And we just try different things with that. And normally it changes up. So we kind of throw things against the wall and see if it sticks. So that was the answer to that. It's nothing like super special.
There's no rocket science to it.
No.
So, Jason, this has been so good. Give us some. I've kept you all way too long though. So give us some final thoughts.
That is all me. I just talk. I just go I'm just processing. You're like, I couldn't go see my counselor this week. So because I was sick. So this is my counseling.
This is your therapy. Hey man, if this is your therapy, I'm enjoying it. Let's have at it.
Yeah. We're going to talk about my mother here in a minute.
No.
So yeah, I would say if I was going to give you anything, let me see. I wrote some things down. Let me see what the best thing I have for you here is. I would say this. I would leave tonight asking yourself this question. Do I want what It Works offers? We're talking financial freedom. We're talking a potential check that is bigger than anything you've ever made. Okay? Whether that come through you or come through your wife. But more money than you've ever made in your life. More time freedom than you've ever had in your life. Talking about you can be wherever you want to be in the world on Thursday afternoon. Do you want that? Or do you want what you want when you want it more? And we kind of got off on this earlier, and I feel like this is probably the word for you, for some of you tonight. Do I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it now? Do I want my hot dinner on the table and the floor vacuumed and the dishes done and the kids acting right and the kids being tidy when I come home from work? Or do I want to see a little dysfunction here, which really isn't dysfunction, guys? Dirty dishes in the sink's called life. You know, I'll tell you one thing I can't stand is this make your bed business. That this one Navy admiral makes a speech at a graduation about how you're supposed to make your bed every day. And now everybody's going, well, if you're going to be successful, you got to make your bed every day. Guys, our bed is so freaking dysfunctional and we make more money than anybody in our family. Okay. So I don't know what that guy was talking about. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and say this, probably make more money than he did. So, so anyway, this mess that drives me crazy. So I would just ask yourself, do you want what you want now or do you want that? And if you want that, if you want It Works to be everything you can imagine, you're going to have to just eat it today. You can't have everything that you want on the way there. There's going to be some things that are going to operate dysfunctionally. There's going to be some things that aren't done all the time. You're going to have to give a little ground. And you're probably going to have to give a little pride. And I'll tell you, I'm super secure in it. It doesn't bother me. But there are those split seconds where my wife makes outrageously more than I make, and she makes outrageously more than I ever made at my peak. And you just got to pull that into check. It really doesn't matter. I know it feels like it does, but it really doesn't matter because it's not her money, just like it wasn't my money. It's our money. So be supportive and make those decisions based on your long-term plan, not off of what you want today. That would be my wisdom for you.
Man, we love it. Absolutely love it. Well, guys, this has been unbelievably good. And Jason, thank you so much.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on. And I don't appreciate you making me follow Ben Boyle, though. That guy's a stud.
He
got
is.
about 19 times the stuff last week than you got tonight. Because let me tell you something, Ben Boyle is a stud.
We have laughed more tonight, though, for sure. Man, I love it. Well, hey, would you mind wrapping this up with prayer?
Absolutely. As in, I wouldn't mind. I don't know. What is the answer? What's the correct answer to that? Would you mind? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes, I would mind.
I like absolutely.
Yes, I would mind. Okay, so here, let's pray. Lord Jesus, we thank you so much for the opportunity that we have in this business. God, before it works, I could not have imagined the checks that we have come in. I could not imagine the type of freedom that we have. As a matter of fact, before it works, we didn't even see the potential of ever being debt-free, and now we are. And God, we've got all of these men on here tonight who they're on here because they see, at whatever level they see it, they see some potential in this business. They're looking at it works and they're saying there's gold in them hills. We just have to figure it out. I just have to understand it. I just have to find it. Well, Lord Jesus, what I'm asking you is that supernaturally you would begin to open these folks' eyes to see the potential of this business. Father, I'm asking you that you would open eyes to see the potential in their wives, the locked up, unseen, unknown magic that has been existing right before their eyes for years. God, I'm asking you that you would just bring it to their attention. Father, that you would start to show them the gift sets in their wife, that you would begin to show them the wisdom in their wife, that you would begin to show them the capacity in their wife so that they could be an encouragement, they could be a support, and they could release her to do everything that she's ever imagined possible and more in this business. And God, for the men on here that are working this business, Lord, I'm asking you that you give them strategy, that you give them marketing ideas, that you give them a way to stand out in the market, a way to stand out online as they try to bring attention to their business. And I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. It's been a blast, and I have gotten so much out of it. And Jason, I thank you for your time, man.
Well, hey, I appreciate you having me on. I had a lot of fun.
Awesome.